Well, D-Day, of course, we jumped early in the morning, about 1 o'clock. One of the things was it was a little bit testy because of the fact that we couldn't actually, with our backpack on, we couldn't actually sit on the seat. We couldn't sit on it. So we had to have a sort of a half-kneeling position all the way over. But we were in such condition in those days, it didn't really mean that much. And of course, you were a little bit numb, too. You know, there's no kidding about it. We were doing something special. Something we hadn't done every day, you know.
Were you nervous?
In a way, yeah. In a way, yeah. And they were giving the guys motion sickness pills, and they were making them drowsy and all, so I wouldn't take any. The main thing was you were focusing on what you were going to do, what you were supposed to do. What was your job? And what did you learn about it? It was really sort of a relearning process, which was very interesting, going over there. And then, of course, looking out and seeing all the ships below and the aircraft around us extended out forever. And the amazing thing of over those 900 aircraft in the air, not one ran into another and forming up. It was just really a miracle, the whole thing was.
Was your plane hit at all by flak?
Oh, yes. Yeah, the bullets went through it. Once we got over there, we found out they really didn't like us very much. And they threw everything they had at us. And, of course, when we were ready to take off, they banged on the door of the plane and said I was in the wrong airplane. So they switched me to another plane. To this day, I can't find out which one it was. They put another fella in there, and this plane that they took me out of was plane number 66 that took a direct hit and went down with everybody on it. That was the headquarters plane. They were supposed to drop us at 700 feet at 95 miles an hour, and the young pilots panicked. They dropped our battalion at 300 feet at 160 miles an hour, which meant it tore all our equipment off. We started with nothing, absolutely nothing. The main thing was a bag about 4 inches by 8 inches by 10 inches, stuffed full of equipment. And we spent weeks and weeks on that, loading and unloading and changing and all this. And then on that jump, it just lost the whole thing. Had good equipment and stuff, although it was very basic. You know, one of the problems I had was when I landed, I came in backwards. It hit my steel helmet on my neck, cracked 3 vertebrae, and gave me a concussion. So sometimes I have trouble putting these things together because I can't remember half the time I was there. Probably very good, you know, with some of the circumstances.
Were you able to continue on?
Oh, yeah. I stayed for 15 days until I was going through Carentan with a little vehicle, track vehicle, with some guys that were looking for French girl snipers. And there were 3 guys with me, behind me. And something happened. I have no idea what it was. I ended up in the hospital with a cast from my hip to my ankle. And I've never been able to fathom that. Whether these people were all wiped out or whatever, I have no idea. Could have been an airburst, but none of mine, certainly. I don't think. But I have no idea. There was nobody there, I guess, to record it. I landed in the middle of a field all by myself, and I used the cricket. You know what the crickets were. And I used that, and eventually somebody answered me. Just before I left the plane, the crew chief gave me his .45 and 3 clips of ammunition. Well, as a medic, I wasn't going to carry that because we had guys that were killed by the Germans with a weapon. So, being a person, I followed the Geneva Convention, of course, and I landed in the middle of the field, and I eventually hooked up with another guy. It was probably not more than 10, 15 minutes. It seemed like forever. And the first officer I found didn't have a weapon, so I gave him the .45 and the clips. So that night, I have no idea where I landed. Not the slightest. No idea where I landed. I've never been able to find out. If I knew the plane that I was in, I could locate it because some of our landing patterns are are reproducible, but I have no idea. I know it was not too far from Saint Mary-Glise because I remember through the night going through Saint Mary-Glise after it had been captured, I guess. So I joined up with some guys that had a bunch of German prisoners in a horse-drawn cart. And as I say, there's spots where I can't remember. I just, it's really annoying, you know. It's like cutting a film.